I'm going to tell you how I consecutively cleared 5 GS papers using this technique that I'm going to tell you, and also how the toppers do it. My experience, let me tell you, elimination is the queen of UPSC, because UPSC is not any other exam which purely tests your factual knowledge out there, right? No, the questions are very analytical. Therefore, you require really good elimination techniques too. 120 days. That's all that's left between you and UPSC Prelims, or I should say 120 decisions. It's either study or delay, or revise or regret for the rest of your life. Now, let me tell you, most of the aspirants don't fail prelims not because they don't study hard. It's because they study the wrong way, they revise the wrong way, and they execute the wrong way in this last 120 days or the last 4 months. Now, this video is going to be all about that. I'm going to tell you how I consecutively cleared 5 GS papers using this technique that I'm going to tell you, and also how the toppers do it. Now, before going into the session, let us first of all discuss what are the most common mistakes that you need to avoid. After that, we will go into how to plan the same. Now, what are the most common mistakes that every aspirant does? Now, the first one is to run after multiple sources in these last days. Now, let's say, for example, you are studying ancient history. You have different sources such as Tamil Nadu NCRT, Old NCRT R.S. Sharma, New NCRT themes, you have Udan, you have Lucent, you have Institute material, and also you have Poonam Dalal here. Now, always remember, you need to restrict your sources, because revision is the key part here. If you read all these sources, maybe you will get extra 10% of information. But would you be able to revise it? Now, do you think that if you don't revise this multiple times, you will be able to remember all this? Definitely no. So the first and the basic thing is keep your sources very less. One standard book followed by NCRTs is that all that you require. Second one is ignoring the revision cycles. Now, this actually explains the same thing. You might be tempted to read the India yearbook. You might be tempted to read the multiple current affairs magazines. You might be tempted to read the annual magazines and all the other different sources such as PIB, Kurukshetra, and all the other things. Now, let me ask you, if you don't revise the same, do you think you will be able to remember it, the same question? Definitely no, right? So always, as I said before, keep your sources very less, and also it's more important to revise rather than increasing your sources and your additional information as well. The third one is being very much revision centric and not being test centric. Now, this is also one of the most common issues that students do. Now, what happens if you don't test yourself? What happens here? Now, let me tell you, only when you test yourself, when you take the test papers, you will be able to understand the lack of information in your micro themes. Right. You will be able to understand, let's say, for example, you took the parliament exam, and from the parliament exam, let's say from 10 questions, you were only able to score 4 correct. Now, that means that your accuracy in parliament is very less, and you need to revise parliament more. Now, if you don't test yourself, what happens? You might feel that, okay, fine, I know everything in the parliament. No, only if you test yourself, you will be able to understand the mistakes and the micro loops that you have. And the final one is ignoring the PYQs and the elimination strategies. For the fact that, let me tell you, close to 38 questions in 2025 prelims could have been solved through elimination techniques. Now, most of the students are currently being very skeptical of the elimination techniques out there. But from my experience, let me tell you, elimination is the queen of UPSC, because UPSC is not any other exam which purely tests your factual knowledge out there, right? No, the questions are very analytical. Therefore, you require really good elimination techniques to get through this. And the second one is to basically ignore the UPSC language and content. Let's say, for example, in 2025, you had the question regarding papaya. Were they introduced by the Portuguese? Now, the same question regarding papaya was asked in a different manner in 2024 when they asked, were they invasive species or not, or were they introduced by someone or not. Now, the second one regarding aragata, it was asked in 2025. The same question was asked in 2016 as well. So, if you completely ignore the PYQs, you don't analyze it, you don't read the language, you don't practice the elimination techniques, and you don't study the evergreen content, then you're doomed to fail. Now, how do you solve this? Right, this is the most important question here, right? Now, what can you do to improve yourself? The first one is regarding the revision. you have to revise at least 3 times. At least 3 times. Let's say you are reading your standard book in January. The same thing you have to revise in the month of March. The same thing you have to revise in the month of April. And the same thing you have to revise in the month of May, in the last 20 days. So at least 3 times you need to revise in the month of March, April, and May. Now, should you revise each and everything out there? Definitely no. What should you revise? You should be able to distinguish between the less important areas, more important areas, and the areas to skip. Now, what do you need to revise more? You need to revise only the most important areas, or what we call the micro themes. Let's say in 15 years, those topics in which UPSC have asked questions more than 3 to 4 times, that is something that you need to revise more. And rest all the topics, you can probably read it once more, but the second and the third revision is not needed for those topics. Now, the second one is to ignore the PYQs. Now, how can you solve the same? First of all, you need to improve the elimination techniques. Now, how can you improve? You need to solve the PYQs from 2015 to 2025 at least 3 times. You need to understand the UPSC language and understand why UPSC introduced certain words such as can, may, primarily, mainly, significantly. You need to know the patterns, let's say 5-3, 4-6, and different patterns, word deconstruction, and all the other techniques out there. Now, regarding the content as well, let me tell you, you need to study the evergreen content. Now, what does evergreen content mean? Evergreen content refers to those topics which are evergreen in nature. Now, let's say for an example in 2025, a topic about pollution. Now, the pollution regarding the acid pollution or the acid rain can be repeated in 2026, can be repeated in 2027 as well, right? It's not something current affairs oriented. So those topics which does not have any current affairs orientation are what is known as evergreen topics. So you need to study the evergreen content from 2015 to 2025. Now, should you study the content from 1997? Most of my students ask me, so should I study the content from 1997? Definitely not. Okay, you need to study only the last 10 years content. Because let's say you study the content from 1997, you might get one additional question, correct? But what is the effort you are investing? You're reading close to 23 questions, 23. You're reading close to 18 years of additional content just to get that one extra question. And the one extra question might be something that we could have gotten if you have read the standard books properly as well. So always remember, you need to do the questions from only 2015 and you don't need to read it from 1997 or beat whatever, as some YouTubers out there say. Now, the last thing, as I told you, it should never be revision-centric. Rather, it should be test-centric. Now, what is the benefit of being test-centric? Only when you do the questions, you will be able to understand, you will be able to judge yourself where you're going wrong, which micro theme you're lacking. These areas I don't have a particular knowledge as I have taught, so that you can do the same. Now, kitna questions aapko lena hai? At least 100 question papers you need to do. Okay? At least 100 question papers you need to do, be it 50 questions or 100 questions. And among them, at least 25 should be full test. And this is among the 25 wherein you need to apply the 3-round approach. You need to test your time management on how you do in the 2 hours. You need to master your strategy here. And possibly try to attempt at least 5 to 10 question papers through open mock test. Because if you don't attend the open mock test, aapko wo UPSC feel to nahi aayega. You must be very comfortable. You must be getting very high marks in your room, in your reading room and everything. But only when you attend the open mock test, when you sit aside someone you don't know, you will have that choti si wala UPSC pressure, and that will actually help you to get acclimatized to the UPSC pressure and feeling. So attend at least 10 open mocks, and apart from that, attend close to 90 question papers. And this way, close to 25 should be the full test as well. This is what you have to exactly do. And I'll give you a plan B on how you have to execute the following for the next 120 days. Now, how to plan the same? First of all, as I told before, 120 days equal to no random content, no significant additional sources or something is required. You stick to your standard source if it's something good. So the last 120 days, I would say would be better recall, better revision, better learning of PYQ content, and also better discipline testing, and also better focus on the elimination techniques as well. Now start now. Now regarding the time, first of all, let me tell you that beat someone. If you have given like 4 prelims or 5 prelims, you don't need to start now. But if you have only cleared 1 prelims, or if you have failed multiple times, or if you are a starter, you need to start now. The maximum day that you can extend your prelims preparation is till February 8. Okay. After Feb 8, you need to completely shift to prelims. So what I'm saying is, close to 75% of the time you should be studying for prelims. But after Feb 8, you should be completely shifting to prelims. That's like close to 100 days, 110 days, you should be completely focusing on prelims. Let's say you're someone who have cleared prelims like multiple times. Then only the last 75 days you need to shift to prelims. Abhi nahi, only the last 75 days. Now I know most of you watching this video will be in this category. Those who have not cleared prelims or who have only cleared prelims for the only once. Now I'll give you a better plan on how you have to plan it. Okay. So what would be the ideal plan? In my opinion, the ideal plan, as I always do, is a 3-phase plan. Now, what is this 3-phase plan? First of all, from the month of January to March, you have 15 days, right? You have 50 days. What you have to do? First of all, the aim of the 50 days is to make your static very strong. You have to make your static very strong. And you have to have really good conceptual clarity. You have to have really good conceptual clarity. Now, how do you do the same? First of all, you need to attempt any daily test. Daily, at least 50 questions you need to attempt. Okay. Daily, at least 50 questions you need to attempt. Then only you will understand which area you're going wrong. Let's say, for example, you study today fundamental rights, DPSPs and fundamental duties. If you don't test yourself on that particular day, how do you know that you have understood properly regarding all the topics of fundamental rights and all the other topics? Would you be able to understand? No. That is why daily testing is something very important. Whatever the topics that you have revised or studied on that day, you have attempted shorty tests just to make sure that you have understood something very conceptually. Okay. So first and the basic thing to do is to complete the daily syllabus. After that, you attend the daily test. You attend the daily test. After attending the daily test, you will understand that which particular micro theme that you're lacking. Let's say, for example, you attended the modern history paper. And in the revolutionary movement, among the 8 questions, you got only 2 correct. That means that revolutionary movement pe aapki content bahut kam hai. So therefore, you need to revise the same. That's the importance of doing daily tests. And after that, what you do? You understood that there is a significant micro theme gap. For example, revolutionary group pe. After you study that particular micro theme. Now, should you study everything? For example, citizenship pe 10 question aaya and aapko sirf ek hi mil gaya. Should you study that? No. Because citizenship pe in the last 15 years only single question has come. What about the making of the constitution? Let's say in a test paper that you are attending, 10 questions were there and only 2 you got it correct. Now, is it something very important? No. Only a single question came in 2024 among the last 15 years. So therefore, only if it's an important micro theme, you need to study yourself, you need to focus on that, you need to revise on that, or else you can completely ignore the same. Okay. Now, this phase will go from January to March. 50 days. In these 15 days, you have to complete polity, geography, history, science and technology, economy, international relations. All the major subjects, including the current affairs, you have to complete in the 15 days with really good conceptual clarity by attending daily questions and reading the answer keys, understanding where you're going wrong and everything. Now, what happens after you complete the 50 days? Now, you really have really good conceptual clarity, right? Now, what do? You try to revise the same. And that's why we require revision tests. You need revision tests to attend the same. So since you already attempted daily questions with respect to each and every minute syllabus, you don't need to attempt a minute syllabus or the daily question test, right? what do you need to do? You need to focus mostly on the micro themes, and on a weekend basis, you can attempt revision-based test here. Now here, you need to focus on mostly a revision-based approach. Now you can do it in two ways. The firstly, either you can only focus on the micro themes, mostly focus on the micro themes and learn, or else what you can do, you can take significant number of tests once again and then do the same process. If you feel that any of the micro themes that you are lacking from this test, you revise on the same. Okay. Better one, I would advise you to take the test only. Okay. So take the revision papers test, focus more on the micro themes, and also in month of March to April, you need to start doing the PYQs as well. You need to start doing the PYQs, because PYQs we need to complete at least 3 times. It will be very boring for you, because you know the answer to all the questions, but fir bhi, you need to understand the language of UPSC. That is why taking the PYQs, attempting it 3 times is something very important. Now, what do you do in the last 40 days? The most important 40 days, probably from April 16th to May 24th. What do you do? The most important thing, it should be a PYQ-based approach. That is, whatever you are studying should be relevant with respect to PYQ. You should not be studying the less important areas, for example, citizenship, making of the constitution. Rather, you should be focusing on the parliament, fundamental rights, DPSPs, and all the other important areas out there. Right. So you should be doing close to 25 full tests. Out of that, at least 10 should be open marks, wherever you are, be it in Pune, Trivandrum, Bangalore, anywhere. You should learn the PYQ questions and the content for all the evergreen topics. Now, we will provide you the content. Okay? You don't have to make your own content for the same. We will provide you the content from 2015 to 2025. And the final thing, focus mostly on the most important micro themes, and you can completely ignore less important topics. Let's say, for example, ancient history pay should be focusing on literature, travelers, Gupta and Maurya administration, and the sites, Indus Valley, Mahajanpada, and what all not. Right. So this should be the plan. First phase, make your static very strong. Do 50 questions on a daily basis so that your conceptual clarity and starting is something very strong. After that, you go into revision. You can do significant number of test series, but you don't need to do 50 questions. You can attempt the 100 question papers, and also you can attempt some revision test as well. But during this time, we start doing the PYQs. And what do you do in the last 40 days? You will close to 25 full tests. You will be doing PYQ questions, and the content also will be focusing here, and we'll be focusing on the most important micro themes here. Right. So firstly, in the phase 1, let me repeat again what you have to do. Focus on the micro themes, read the standard book, watch my orientation, do daily test, understand those areas which you are lacking, and you revise from the same. Second, revising the micro themes, doing revision test, understanding the micro loops and studying from the flash notes or from the standard book. Thirdly, doing full tests, focusing on micro themes and studying the PYQs and the micro themes, PYQs and the content. This is what you have to do. Now, how to proceed with the same? This will be some question and another question that you will be asking yourself. So how do I do this? Let me tell you, you don't have to plan it for yourself, because we at Civilsdaily has done it for you as a part of the Dominate Prelims. Now, this is exactly how the Dominate Prelims has also been planned. It's something very systematic. It's something very smooth and systematic, I would say. Okay. So here, as you can see here, this was the previous batch. Our new batch is going to start from 26th of January. So here, as you can see here, from the batch which started on January 5. From January 5 to March 16, we have the daily test, core test, and the advanced test. Second phase, we'll be focusing on the elimination techniques. We have a 1 month long elimination techniques course from February 2nd to March 16. After that, we'll be moving on a revision phase, which I told you in the second phase. We have 3 revision tests here from 16th March to 12th April. You will be having 40 hours of current affairs classes as well. And the final lab from 12th March to 10th May, close to 40 days, we'll be doing close to 5 full-length tests. So the Dominate test series here, as you can see, is equally aligned with the philosophy of that what I just told you. So these are the daily tests, as you can see here, from 21st January the Indian economy, we have divided the portions into choti moti portions, and you can attempt the 50 questions by coming here online or coming from your portal. This is very important because the questions are getting very conceptual, right? For example, in 2025, the NEFT question was asked regarding the RBI sources was asked. Political questions were also something very conceptual. So you need to dive very deeper and understand. How do you understand? You need to do 50 questions with respect to choti moti topics. Then only you will understand, okay, I'm going in very depth or not, right? So you can see here the polity also. Now, before you attend any of the tests out there, first and the foremost thing you have to watch is my orientation sessions. Because my orientation sessions is something very deep. It's not that I'll tell you just you have to focus on the spectrum. I'll detailedly tell you what each and every line you have to skip, what are the less important areas, which are the area to focus, and everything on the basis of PYQ analysis. So our orientation sessions are very systematic. You can watch a couple of lectures from the YouTube. I have shared the thumbnails regarding the same. You will understand how deep we are going. So first of all, watch my orientation before you start any subject out there, and then go with the sources and go with the chapters that I tell you, because everything is based on PYQ analysis here. The second one, after you watch the orientations, you can see here, I'm going to be talking about the sources here. I'll tell the important micro themes such as literature, Mauryan Gupta, Ashokan ports, Indus Valley. On the basis of that, I'll tell you the areas to focus and what you have to ignore. This is how systematic our orientation sessions are. After that, after studying the same, you need to attend the daily test. So here at CD, we have a daily test from 11 to 12, followed by test discussion from 12, followed by a rank list we'll be publishing at exactly 10 p.m. every day. So you will become very disciplined because you are attempting daily test, understanding where you're going wrong. In the discussion, I'll tell you basically how you have to approach the questions, what are the elimination techniques, and everything regarding the same. Right. So after attending the daily test, you will understand the incorrect answers, which will help you to understand what are the micro themes you are lacking. After, you can use our flash notes for the revision. Right. Now the flash notes, we have discussed it earlier. This is the comprehensive prelims revision notes from Civilsdaily, which I'm very proud of here. So you can read the flash notes for the areas which you have made mistakes. And flash notes are a really good book for the revision as well. Right. Now the rank list, exactly every 10 p.m. we'll be publishing the rank list. Now publishing the rank list is something which will make you very disciplined, right? When you see your name going up or when you see your name going down, this will be the most important motivating factor for you to improve for the next day. Now after the first phase, after the daily test end, we have 3 revision tests as you can see here. The revision test of polity and history, the revision test of geography and environment, and the revision test of economy, science and technology, and international relations. Now, it does not mean that you cannot do any test here. You can practice n number of questions here. No issues. Okay. This phase as well, you can practice n number of questions. But also one more thing you have to do is, you have to watch the priority revision classes as well. Because in these priority revision classes, of the 40 hours of priority revision classes, we'll be focusing on the most important areas in which UPSC asks close to 60 to 70% of the topics. So for example, the ancient and medieval sites, chronology of ancient and medieval history, history current affairs. Prime Minister Modi ji has inaugurated, the stamp has come 100 years of 100th anniversary, 50th anniversary, baki sab. Political current affairs, geographical locations, and everything we'll be covering in the next 40 hours, through 40 hours. After that, we have these 5 full-length tests as well, which will definitely give you an idea where you stand. What are the round management strategies? How much should I attempting? What is my ideal attempt? Everything you will understand when you attempt the full test as well. Okay? And let me address the elephant in the room is to improve your elimination techniques. And how do you do the same? Because content is a queen, but usually, as I always say, elimination techniques is a queen, right? How do you do? In every 50 questions test, we have close to 10 to 15 questions of logical questions, therefore, which I will be discussing in my discussions on a daily basis, as you can see here. On the basis of test discussions are mostly logical in nature here. And we ask you the questions which make you think, right? Such as example, you can see the word deconstruction technique being used in order to get the answers. We use the same words such as mainly, primarily, significantly, abundantly, may, always, which UPSC always use, usually not, never, closely, essential, mainly, and all these different techniques as well, right? So we help you to improve your content through our daily test. We help you to revise through our revision test. We help you to improve your elimination through the 1 month of elimination lectures, through my 16 lectures, through my logical elimination discussions, and also through our test series questions as well. So the new batch starts on January 26th. Beat any issue out there. Beat all the issues that you're facing in UPSC Prelims. We have a solution for you. And the most important part, let me tell you, I will be a mentor for Dominate Prelims. All the students are my mentees in Dominate, because the mentor is the most important thing that plays a most important role. The questions and the everything and the videos, you will get it from the market, right? But would you get my advice from the market? Definitely no. So the mentorship is the most important, crucial component of Dominate Prelims as well. So treat this as your final attempt. Don't take any risk. Trust someone who can guide you. And I would say that person would be me for the 2026 as well. So let me tell you, do join Dominate Prelims. You can scan the QR code. You can call me directly. You can message me directly for any queries with respect to Prelims or even Dominate. Thank you, everyone. So this is one plan that you have to execute if you have to clear the 2026 Prelims. Divide your preparation into 3 phases. Attempt the daily test. Understand where you don't have conceptual clarity. You revise the same and make sure that you have a concept clarity on those topics. Revision, elimination techniques, and finally, the full test will seal your fate. And with my logic and with my mentorship, you will be definitely able to clear the prelims as well. Okay, everyone. Thank you. Have a nice day.